Hello, so back again, and in this tutorial, uh, we will resume from the previous tutorial. And in previous tutorial, when we on previous tutorial when we moved our character from to this wall, it was detecting up nicely, and it was showing this enter triggered with object name right side walls. But when we were going through this wall, it was passing just right through. So, and it didn't press enter triggered with object name left side wall. So it didn't detect uh, the collision with left side wall because there was no game object with the name left. Instead, it was LETT with no F. So what we gotta do is simply rename this to left instead of left, where I made a typo earlier. So here I made here I will rename to left side wall. And now when I will press play, it goes to the left, then this right side movement is allowed, and then it will go here. And now here again it didn't pick up left, so I did a typo again. Yeah, I didn't save it. I guess we were doing the changes in the play mode, so we will do the changes here in not in the play mode but in the development view. So now when we play it, it wouldn't pass. Apologies for this. Again, it's important that you see where you are doing the changes while the game is being played, or after the game or the game is in editor mode. So now it stopped, and not just stopped, it says enter triggered with object name left side wall, and it won't move in that direction again. And when it collides here, all the direction allowed is in this direction. However, there is one catch with this. I will show you in a second, but now I will show you that our logic works for a bit for a fine. So once it goes here, it won't pass. That is, our movement script was locked to only letting him move along this direction now, and now it will keep on moving till it touches here. When collider, our collider is being registered on trigger enter, it will only let our character to move on the other side. So to summarize it up, let's place it here, and if you can see, this is our character. Once it touches wall, only movement that is allowed is in this direction. If it touches here, so what we will do is let him move to both direction. That is, let him move in both directions once it collides here. So this is pretty simple. That we had void on trigger enter, and here we need just void on. Oh, sorry. This is autocomplete on trigger exit collider and other. This will be like this, just a replica of this on trigger exit. Simply copy it, and instead of enter press exit, and then collider other. What we got to do is we will see that when is this function called, and whenever it is called, we will allow the movement in both directions. So here it will, here we will write collision ended, allow movement in both directions. So, first thing is see when this thing pops up in the console, that is collision ended and allow movement in both direction. So right now collision is happening, but when we leave, then it says collision ended, allow movement in both direction. So this is where we need to use this line again. So for this line to be used, that is I will again rename allow movement of character in either left or right side. So for this to be for the movement logic flow to be here, the collision status needs to be 0, that is the initial position. So we will simply set the collision status back to 0 as it was, and now when we play, our character should be able to move freely once it has left the collision scene along both the side X or Y. That is left or right, not X or Y, sorry. So this is our character moving freely, and now once it touches here, it can only go here, and then it can go right back here. Once it's here, it can't pass, and then it's again can come can go move freely. Now it can move freely, and as you can see. So here I will pause it, and you will look back at the code and see what have you done here. Meanwhile, our next thing would be to make a start button here, or we can use a space key to replicate the start movement, and whenever let us say space key is pressed or a button is pressed, our character would start moving forward along with the animation of moving forward, and this is how it will be. So for this tutorial, I hope it is pretty clear and simple what we have done so far here. And after this tutorial, you should be able to know when OnTriggerEnter works, when OnTriggerExit works. That is what is unity physics and how is rigid body placed on either of the collision object to be collided with the another collider. Any one of them must have a physics, must have a rigid body added to them. In our case, our character had rigid body component on, even though we turned it back to schematic, so it won't start doing physics things. That is unity physics that applies to every unity object. So once this is done, we will look at our next tutorial, and next tutorial we will fix our animation further to look at more refined. Thank you.